President says at least 7 have been killed, dozens wounded. The Israeli army calling on Gazans to evacuate south to the humanitarian zone, but heavy combat making that a very dangerous option. Jordana Miller, ABC News, Jerusalem.
The DOJ announcing a major crackdown on health care fraud. Attorney General Merrick Garland announcing charges against nearly 200 people across multiple jurisdictions that the DOJ says took part in medical schemes ranging from the sale of mislabeled drugs to billing Medicare for unnecessary procedures. Supporters of Bolivia's president rallying outside the presidential palace today, a day after a failed coup attempt by military forces. You're listening to ABC News.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text ALL to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text ALL to 321-321. That's ALL to 321-321.
If you spend hours stuck in traffic, you're not alone, clearly, but some cities are worse than others.
If you live in New York, Chicago, LA, Boston, or Miami, we feel for you. Those are the top 5 cities for traffic congestion, according to INRIX, a company that studies transportation analytics. Its new survey says American drivers lose an average of 42 work hours in a typical year because they're sitting in traffic. The survey also shows congestion is up since before the pandemic, and mass transit ridership is down.
ABC's Sherry Preston. Millions have experienced a telehealth visit since the pandemic, but a Texas hospital is taking virtual medicine to new heights.
At Crescent Regional Hospital, the worlds of optics, artificial intelligence, and medicine have come together in a 7-foot-tall box.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
I feel good. A 3D life-size video display allows doctors to teleport from anywhere in the world for real-time holographic consultations with patients. Crescent CEO is Raji Kumar.
Our doctors on the north side of town don't have to drive 30 miles to see one of their patients.
Saving time and money for patient and doctor.
Okay, good to see you.
Thank you, sir. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Denmark will be the first country to tax livestock farmers for their gassy cows and pigs. The animals, a major source of methane emissions and a big contributor to global warming. The new tax goes into effect in 2030 with the aim of cutting greenhouse gas emissions by 70% from 1990 levels. I'm Mark Remillard, ABC News.
Why is Navage perfect for allergy sufferers? Rhino Systems Medical Director Dr. Howard Levine explains.
If someone's exposed to allergens, they can get rid of those immediately by washing out the nose. Navage works by pulling saline in one nostril, through the nose and out the other nostril, sucking out allergens, mucus, dust, and germs. Experience on-the-spot relief so you can breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier.
Navage is available at Sam's Club, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or online at Navage.com. Navage. Breathe easy.
Solid relationships with our customers and vendors are what keep our doors open and have kept them open for 105 years. Hi, this is John Gray at Angelo's Furniture. I would love it if you'd stop by and celebrate with us. Savings are huge, prizes are fantastic, and we promise the service will exceed your expectations. At Angelo's Furniture, we strive to put relationships first. If you don't find what you need today, the relationship we're building will be what brings you back. Stop by and celebrate with us today.
The tagline, Swain's has everything, couldn't be more true. Just ask anyone. From gardening supplies to shoes and apparel, from kitchen gadgets to toys, from paint to sports gear. Oh yeah, and world-famous popcorn, just to name a few. Right now, their tag should be Swain's has everything on sale. The 4th of July sale is exploding with deals you won't walk away from. Stop by and see for yourself because you only have until July 9th. Swain's General Store. They really do have everything.
This is Pepper with your KONP News headlines, brought to you today by McCrory Carpet One. Always priced right, always done right. McCrory Carpet One. Almost 200 people will lose their jobs later this summer in Port Angeles after McKinley Paper Company announced plans to shut down its operations at the mill. Josiah Hill, former emergency department physician at Olympic Medical Center, was sentenced on Monday for sexually assaulting 6 women over the course of 18 months. Originally charged with multiple felony offenses, prosecutors dropped those to misdemeanor counts as part of a plea agreement. Hill will serve just 180 days in jail. You'll see these stories and more on our website at myclallamcounty.com.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast. Partly cloudy skies this afternoon. Daytime highs approaching 62. West winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Mainly clear tonight, lows around 49. Mainly cloudy skies expected tomorrow. Highs level off around 64. Mid-60s Saturday and Sunday with a slight chance for isolated showers Sunday. I'm weatherology meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, it's 57 degrees.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
Well, it's not Todd. It's Amanda.
Yeah.
Filling in for Todd this week on the Todd Ortloff Show. I'm Amanda Bacon, and I get to interview Kevin Holt today. Kevin, you are our superstar business guru here in Port of Angeles, and
Yes.
you're going to talk to us a little bit about calculated risk today.
I am.
But before we get into
Yes.
that, in case someone has just stumbled upon KONP for the first time and they have no idea who you are,
What a wonderful opportunity.
I know. Would you please introduce yourself and tell people why you're our guru?
I would be delighted. Again, my name is Kevin. I run as Kevin, your business coach, and I do that because for the last 15 years, I was a certified business advisor for the Small Business Development Centers by the Small Business Administration. During that time, I saw 1,000 clients. I did 10,000 hours of business coaching. I helped 100 startups launch, and I helped small businesses raise $10 million. So,
Wow.
with that succinct summary,
That is a resume and a half.
it'll get me here. That's right. and the great part was I really enjoy it. Business is my thing. I found that out as a young boy. I learned to read, and after I read everything in the magazine, I started reading all the advertisements. And I wonder what they're trying to do here. And gee, they didn't do this last month, and why are they doing that this month? So it's a disease. Yeah.
Interesting. I like it. It's funny because I also, when I'm now watching advertisements, because I write a lot of the commercials and all
do.
that kind of
And
stuff
they're
and
good.
produce them. And now when I watch commercials, I watch them with different eyes. It's interesting what catches people's interest in life.
And you're looking at that, and you're seeing it from the perspective of the creator of those messages, and it's very exciting. People often don't embrace the kinds of work that you do, but they are not paying attention to how it helps them make decisions in life.
And I'm watching, these marketing campaigns that people have put together while they're off on a boat somewhere. I'm watching it in my, little bacon bungalow in
That's
Squim,
right.
which is, but it's fine. It's good. So Kevin, we're going to talk about calculated risk. This is a huge thing, especially in small business and especially in this kind of environment, this community that we have. So tell us about calculated risk and why it's so important to take the leap or not to take the leap.
Great
That is the
lead in.
question.
It is the question. Just before I do that, I think we should present Amanda with Spirit Award for this week because of your tremendous effort. As many people know, I have the pleasure of doing some work here in the building early in the morning, and here's Amanda taking care of business while the good, hardworking people, Doreen out front and Todd here, are taking a little time off. I was hoping they might have had better weather for their vacations, but
I wasn't.
Yes. Get them back here faster. And also, you'll get to have the good weather. Well, it's never good here till after the 4th. So
It's going to be great, yeah.
Well, life is uncertain, and most decisions involve some kind of risk. And the first kind of risk is random chance, like buying a lottery ticket or going to a casino. And that's fun. We all like good surprises, and of course, we get a big kick out of winning.
But then there's also random chance that's not so fun, like storm damage or car accidents or theft or vandalism or getting sick. These things just land on us. And we deal with that by buying insurance, putting some money in the bank so that we can enjoy the reward of being able to cope with those issues. And then there's those choices that we make when the outcome is uncertain. Should we fix our old car or buy a new one? Should we buy a house now or wait until the market settles down? Should I buy a certificate of deposit or invest in a mutual fund? And we can certainly use random chance to make those decisions. We can flip a coin, draw a straw, or we can use what we know about the situation. We can try to assess the consequences of our choices, and we can take a calculated risk. So when we do that, we can use some different strategies to kind of walk our way through those different choices we can make. If you're in real estate, you're familiar with the point system. Agents do this to help people choose a property.
Sure.
Get a list of your priorities, assign some values, visit some properties, score them, and then sit down and look at your score. Now, for the last few years, you didn't have a chance to do that.
No, just whatever you could get.
You pulled up to the house with the other 17 people, and they all looked at each other with hate in their eyes, and everybody ran in, and never even looked at the building. You just, let me put in my bid. Yeah. And again, calculated risk being what it is, when you don't bring in all that information, I imagine there's probably some people sitting at homes right now that are going,
I see why it was for sale now.
and I see why I got it and nobody else wanted it. Yeah, it's and we'll talk about that a little bit later as to how you get there. But another approach is to compare the outcomes. So if I buy a new espresso machine for my coffee stand, I can make drinks 3 times faster. If I get more customers, I can triple my income. If I don't get more customers, I won't be able to make the payments and I'll go broke. On the other hand, if I lease a new espresso machine, the higher cost means I can only double my income, but I can terminate that lease early if the customers don't materialize. So now I'm
because it might not be the espresso machine that's causing the issue.
Exactly. Or there may be other reasons customers move through my business slowly.
Yeah.
And so it's a risk. And what we're kind of also talking about there is something from the gambling industry called risk of ruin. The buying the espresso machine brings a risk of ruin because you are now committed. Leasing it gives you that opportunity to mitigate your losses by making a change. In business startup, we use the concept of minimum viable form. How can you get in front of a customer with the least investment and commitment possible so you can find out if the customer likes your idea as much as you do?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's really interesting because there's a part of me that thinks buying it would be better because then you have more skin in the game, which means you're going to work harder and means you're going to anticipate that everything's going to be good. But I also understand leasing it. I mean, how do you make that decision where you can see both sides working out great in your own head?
Well, and in that case, the buying gives you total control of the revenue. You're not sharing it monthly with a lease payment. You're certainly making a debt payment, but that is your asset, so you're building it. And it certainly gives you total control of the operation of serving the coffee, whatever. However, it's that risk of ruin. And this is an area, and in a moment we'll talk about Kevin's 7 ways to make a bad decision. But it's very important to consider that risk of ruin as you are calculating the risk of maybe making do with less money because you're taking a safer avenue. So what I think a lot of people might ask is, well, when you talk about it, it seems fairly straightforward. Why do people still take poorly chosen risks? And most of us have a friend or family member who has. As a business coach, as a business advisor, way too many people come to me after they've done what they've done and like, can you please help me get out of this? And no, unfortunately, I can't.
If we're going to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking merciful termination here. There's really a point beyond which recovery becomes impossible. And it's the one thing you never see in a business plan, which every banker looks for is, hey, I see this business, this financial projection that you made for me, and it shows how great everything's going to be. Can you please go back and show me one that shows how bad it can get before you can't make your loan payment?
Ooh.
Because that's the one I want to see.
Yeah.
And that's the one nobody ever calculates. And if they did, they might think more clearly about what they're about to do, because they'll see that not only is the high point kind of hard to imagine, but when I look at the low point and I imagine making at least that, I need to make sure my confidence level is there. If you start with minimum viable form, it's very likely that even in the worst case scenario, you will leave with your bottom intact.
Yeah.
But why do people not do that? Well, let's look at just a few reasons very quickly. Kevin always has 7, so here they are.
It's a good number.
It rhymes with Kevin. So I like it very much.
Wow.
So some people just don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And then they go ahead and make a decision anyway, based on what they think they know.
Sure.
And if they don't know or don't care to think about, and that's the other problem, the different risks that are out there, then they're going to be putting themselves at risk. And unfortunately, there's a lot of pop culture stuff out there. Do what you love and the money will follow. Go big or go home. Remember that one?
Gosh.
Now, everybody went home. That's the problem. All those people that say go big or go home,
Nike
they
made
left.
an entire campaign out of it. Just do it.
And that's good if you're talking about buying a pair of shoes.
Or socks.
Yes, but you know, and so ignorance, it might be bliss, but it's a very expensive form
of
bliss. Yes, some people just don't have a goal or a vision of success. Whether they're remodeling their house or they're building a new house. There's an ancient movie called Mr. Blandings Builds a Dream House. It's the funniest thing ever, and it really talks about what happens when you keep changing your mind mid-course. Very funny scene where the builder asks him if he wants a such and such, and he goes, no, I don't think I want that. And the builder turns and says, rip him down, boys. He doesn't want it. And pieces of wood hit the floor. It's hilarious.
Sounds like the Winchester house.
Exactly. Well, and Tom Hanks did kind of a copy of it later.
Pit,
yeah. But, everything old is new again. But people are wandering around untethered. And so they don't have anything to compare their progress against, and they just keep doing it and getting deeper and deeper, and it's terrible. So no goal, no plan to reach the goal. You'll never get there from here. Mm-hmm. Some people fail to use all the resources around us to better understand their situation. They don't do research. They don't ask hard questions. They don't go to the library. They don't talk to their personal business network and ask people, hey, what do you think of this? Because there is no such thing as a self-made person. We can only succeed if we use everything around us. Then there's outcome infatuation. They fall in love with that image of what it's going to be like when they think they're done. Some people want to be a writer, not because they're good at grammar or they like to share the hero's journey and storytelling. They want to sit in a room full of fans and pontificate because they're a writer. They want to be seen at the coffee shop with their laptop folded up.
And those who can't write run for president.
Precisely. And as I said, I don't like political jokes because they keep getting elected. Exactly. If you want a room of adoring fans, start a cult.
Oh.
That'll get you right there.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Then there's the I know better syndrome. How many of us have met a newcomer to our humble little town here who can't wait to tell us how to do things better? These well-intentioned folks think it's a good idea to come here and tell us everything that's wrong and how they're going to fix it. And the same things happen in business, especially startups. Amanda and I have both seen a couple of businesses where the owner was going to show us all how it's done. And if we were wondering how to go broke, they showed us very clearly how to do that.
Standing ovation.
Precisely. They won that award. Spirit Award, bankrupt business. And there's a very old a book that warns us that pride goeth before a fall.
Yes.
Number 6, and it still does, making decisions based on looking good doesn't usually work out well in the long run. Finally, number 7, our dangerous need for instant gratification. The way people are driving lately, I think patience is a scarce resource. Everyone wants it. They want it now. They want it yesterday if they can get it. And choosing risks based on instant gratification is the backbone of every scam ever perpetrated.
Wow.
And it's also the foundation of every single bad deal that's ever been done. Just sign here, you can drive it home today.
Mm-hmm.
34% interest. What's that mean? Don't worry, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
So why would you take such a risk? Well, in business school, we're taught that in our capitalistic market model, you're only compensated for bearing risk. No risk, no reward. If you turn down all the risks, then you don't get a reward. So to wrap it up today, I'll give you a short list of people who stepped away from a risk and very much regret passing up on that opportunity. Now, we've got some things from the music world.
Okay.
Some of these are a little old, but I know people who know these people. Pete Best, he did not see a future in rock and roll, and so he split from the Beatles in 1962, just a year before they landed on Ed Sullivan and blew up the world. Now, he's famous for not being famous.
Right.
He
Poor
signs
guy.
autographs for not being famous.
Poor guy.
He was not the only musician to miss out. There was another gentleman, a bass player named Stuart Sutcliffe, who quit the Beatles the year before they got big because he wanted to be a painter instead.
Oh, well, I mean, follow your passion.
We haven't heard about him because, sadly, he passed away right after leaving the Beatles.
My stars.
Yeah, it was a very sad situation there. Now, drummer Chad Channing, he was frustrated because they wouldn't let him write music in his new band, Nirvana. So he quit just before the album Nevermind dropped.
And then we got Dave Grohl.
And so, unexpected critical commercial success, top 10 around the world, but his name is not on it. And what is it with drummers? Tony Chapman quit the Rolling Stones in 1962. So Charlie Watts got to enjoy the 7 decades of fame that followed the next year. Yep. And then Abigail kissed the Spice Girls goodbye. They brought in Emma Bunton and said, I think we'll be okay.
So instead of being Baby Spice, she's Regret Spice now.
They told us what they want, what they really, really want. And everybody knows about Ronald Wayne. He decided the emerging tech industry was just too risky. So he went to Jobs and Woz and sold his 10% of Apple back to them for $800.
Oh, it hurts.
$40 billion today if
It
he'd have
hurts.
kept it. And finally, David Cohen. He had a college friend who rented her garage out to 2 guys who started an office with this little thing called Google. It sounded so goofy to him, he never accepted their invitation to drop by for a beer and maybe help him with some coding. So there's a reason to take a calculated risk. But don't do it for pride. Don't do it because you don't have a plan. Don't do it because it'll make you look good. Do it because you did the numbers. So speaking of do the numbers next week, it's a blooper show. I will reveal the many ways startups accidentally disqualify themselves from funding when seeking startup money.
Ooh.
So lots of insider secrets. Don't you miss it.
To be continued. Kevin Holt, thank you so much. How can people get in touch with you?
They can email me at kevinyourbusinesscoach@gmail.com. They can visit my website, and there'll be a copy of the show up there in a day or two, because I always let KONP get the first buzz, and that's at kevinyourbusinesscoach.com.
Perfect. Kevin, thank you so much. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I've got a couple of bacon bits for you.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Red Carpet Car Wash in Carlsberg is always adding to the list of things they provide to keep your vehicle looking brand new. The full detail shop is just one more service to check off that list. Not only will your interior and exterior shine, your engine will sparkle too. Red Carpet is also getting some winter upgrades, including new equipment in the manual bay and new vacuums. Call Kyle today and let him get you scheduled for your red carpet treatment Tuesday through Saturday. 360-461-0826.
Hello, this is Clallam County PUD Commissioner Phyllis Bernard with good news. Did you know that when you flip the light switch, you get some of the nation's greenest energy? Hydroelectric power generated by Bonneville Power Administration, distributed by your local PUD. And as green technology advances, we strive to keep the environment green and keep green in your wallet.
Paid for by the committee to elect Phyllis Bernard.
Stick out your tongue and say, ah, it's the craziest thing you ever saw. Here at Olympic Game Farm, they say howdy with a wave of a paw. Now it's hard to steer clear of the elk and the deer when they pop in to say hello. They've got lions and tigers and bears. Don't forget about the buffalo. It's impossible to stay calm. So come out with your dad and your mom. Canine and feline, you'll find us online at onlygamefarm.com.
Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales has a deal for you. Now and for a very limited time, when you buy any in-stock equipment from Braber, Leeds Farm Supply will pay the sales tax for you. I'm talking log splitters, chippers, power dump wheelbarrows, pallet forks, box scrapers, and more. All in-stock Braber equipment is tax-free, baby. This tax-free event is only on through July 6th. So get into Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales today.
Did you know that hot water accounts for 15 to 20% of your electric energy use? Hi, this is Clallam PUD. Let's talk about heat pump water heaters, or hybrid water heaters. A heat pump water heater uses fans and an evaporator to efficiently extract warmth from the surrounding air, saving you up to 60% on your electric water heating costs. The PUD currently has an instant rebate of up to $900 when using a participating installer, or $600 if you're installing it on your own. Plus, the federal government is offering a $2,000 tax credit. Visit clallampud.net for more information.
Welcome back to the Todd Ortloff Show. I'm Amanda Bacon, filling in for Todd Ortloff this week. Up next is a bacon bit with one of my favorite guys. His name is Mo Rocca. He is the author of Roctogenarians, Late in Life Debuts, Comebacks, and Triumphs. From beloved CBS Sunday morning correspondent Mo Rocca, author of the New York Times bestseller and host of the podcast of the same name, comes an inspiring collection of the stories that celebrate the triumphs of people who made their biggest marks late in life. 80 has been the new 60 for about 20 years now. In fact, there have always been late in life achievers, those who declined to go into decline just because they were eligible for Social Security. And Emmy winner Mo Rocca is here to tell their stories.
Good morning, Mo.
Hi, Amanda. How are you?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm having fun talking about this book, and it's good to be with you.
So what was the basis? I mean, what made you want to write Roctogenarians?
Well, listen, Amanda, there's no other way to put it. Old people are my jam. I've been interviewing older people for a long time. I hosted a cooking show called My Grandmother's Ravioli, where I went around the country learning to cook from grandparents in their kitchens, not my grandparents, but grandparents all over the country. And on CBS Sunday Morning, I've been fortunate to interview a lot of great older people from all walks of life. I find that they care less what other people think of them than younger people do. They're more likely to tell you what's on their mind, and they know themselves better and thus are more likely to go for it. And it's no surprise then that they've accomplished such great things, so many, in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. I also wanted to write this because I found myself, and I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but by my late 40s, I had fallen into the trap of thinking of myself as sort of over the hill.